There are 3 magical kingdoms in the far, far north that are a food world unto themselves. I'm Valentine Warner, an adventurous cook on a culinary journey. Travelling across Denmark, Norway and Sweden, bringing delicious dishes to your kitchen from Scandinavia. This time I'm in the deep waters of Norway, fishing the steep, jagged fjords.
Oh my God, this ain't no tiddler.
Testing my skills on this freshly sliced Danish classic.
Okay, I'm done, stop fiddling.
And experiencing edgy dining with cool Copenhageners. I'm beginning my adventure following the food of Scandinavia here in the fjords of northern Norway, off the coast of the islands of Lofoten. And it feels like the edge of the world. I'm hunting a creature that shaped the history of this region, the cod.
Wow, that is one fat cod. Oh, that's a beauty. Oh my goodness me.
It's a fish that migrates in fast swimming schools to spawn in the fertile waters of this wild granite archipelago.
Look at that fish. The head on it is enormous.
It is.
It's a good 15-pounder. You can see why this part of the world is famous for its cod. Look at that. That was a minute of the line being down. I want to get one of these.
My guide is expert angler Geir Sivertzen.
Look at how it took the hook with all
God,
the
that
three
went for the
trebles.
whole lot.
And we're all aboard the charter trawler Eltor. Up on the bridge, the skipper expertly positions us over his favourite spot using echolocation. Geir's nickname is Dr.Hook. He's the master of hauling up big fish from these deep waters.
I've got something on here that really weighs rather a lot. The cod that I've caught at home are tiddlers. This ain't no tiddler. The rod is really bending. It's a coalfish hooked on the back, which is why it seems so heavy. This at home is what we call a coley, a very beautiful fish. It's a tiddler. It's not the whopping great cod I hoped for.
Time to take a break. We're going to head for the shelter of the fjord, where Geir is going to make us a classic stew. But not with his fresh cod. This dish is made with another ingredient these islands are famous for, salt cod, or klippfisk.
Lofoten Island is all about this, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is klippfisk. It's salted cod, which is originally dried on the cliffs.
Yeah.
In the old days, we had no freezers, so we had to find a way to conserve the fish. And that's why we put, similar to what you would use for drying clothes, we put up to dry the cod. And you can see it's not rock solid.
And this great seafaring nation has also picked up a few recipe ideas on its travels. So Geir's favourite dish bears more than a passing resemblance to a Portuguese speciality.
So we have learned something from them. We had brought them the cod, and they have brought us the bacalao.
Geir's recipe starts with chopped onion, hot red chilies and some garlic, chopped red and yellow pepper and a rich tomato puree. And the mix gets topped up with some water. The sliced potato goes in, layered up with the rehydrated cod.
So this is the salted klippfisk, which has been soaking
Overnight.
overnight.
Yes. To get the salt out and to get the structure more or less as it was originally in the fish.
Next, more layers of potato, carrots and the fish. And lastly, a couple of bay leaves.
Now we have to stir a little bit.
So we layered it all up,
Yep.
and now we're going to stir it all together.
It's you have to make it beautiful.
That's
and
perverse Norwegian engineering, if ever I've heard it.
With the bacalao stirred but not shaken, it goes on a low heat to bubble down for an hour. and I can't resist another crack at the big fish.
Oh my God. There's something really thumping away on the end of the line here. It's a haddock.
It's well hooked. That's your haddock. Beautiful one. This is a nice size.
Well, I didn't get a cod. That is a beautiful haddock, the biggest that I've ever caught.
The easiest way to identify it's a haddock, you see the thumb mark here. That's a classic sign to identify the fish.
But that lovely kind of pink and lilac colour as well, not like the cod. Same family, closely related, and really tasty.
And talking of tasty, I'm getting some tempting whiffs of Geir's Portuguese-style bacalhau that's bubbled down to a rich, ruddy stew.
This just looks absolutely heavenly. I can't wait to tuck in.
It's a very simple meal to make, but it's fantastic. It tastes so good. When we have a big party, especially typically before Christmas, we have bacalhau.
I'm going to get cod for the first mouthful. Oh man, that is big. This is easy to make.
Everybody can make it.
Well, Dr. Hook, you've cooked me a delicious plate of food. So I've caught the biggest haddock I've ever caught in my life, and I'm going to cook it for you.
Oh, I'd like to see how you do it.
I can't stop eating this.
We'll finish this first.
We'll finish it.
The weather-beaten port of Nusfjord has been here since the 1800s. Thanks to the cod, it was once a busy fishery, a hive of activity, salting, drying and refining oil from the huge seasonal catches. Now it's a living museum and a nice sheltered spot for me to cook for Geir.
That is probably the freshest haddock I will ever have eaten in my life.
You got it.
I know, I'm so happy about that.
It's a nice one.
I'm frying lardons of thick, smoky bacon in butter with some whole-dried morel mushrooms which have been rehydrated in boiling water, creating a rich stock. And while they happily fry, Dr. Hook's got a fishy song for me.
Se torsken, en fin og feit og norsken, en norsken, en norsken. Den kommer ifra havet,
It's coming from the sea.
en havner I din mave.
Ends up in your stomach.
Torsken kommer nå, kommer nå.
In with some plain flour to thicken things up.
Now I'm going to add the mushroom stock that so often gets poured away.
And a single bay leaf.
Straight in with the cream. I need your sound effects, please.
The pouring effect?
Yeah, here we go. Okay. Perfect.
The sound machine.
It really doesn't need anything more than that, other than a bit of black pepper.
So while some sunflower oil heats up, it's time to breadcrumb those haddock fillets. First salted flour, then rich beaten eggs and crispy dried breadcrumbs. And it's time to sizzle.
This is that magic that happens when you combine the freshest fish with golden breadcrumbs. Because they're quite deep pieces of fish.
Yes, they are.
When they're golden on the bottom, they've got to be fried on all four sides.
Yep.
And I'm going to chop in a little bit of parsley. For this and all my recipes, go to the website.
goodfoodchannel.co.uk/Eat Scandinavia.
How does that smell?
That smells absolutely delicious. Oh, I want to taste this.
Sauce goes straight back on. Don't put the parsley in until the end. If you put the parsley in at the beginning,
Yep.
by the time everything else is ready, the parsley's gone a bit like a kind of khaki colour. Morels, bacon, cream, parsley. Haddock with morels, bacon and cream.
Thank you. I will never eat plain haddock again. This
Wow.
is fantastic. The taste of the wood, the mushrooms, the taste of the sea, from the fish. I will study everything you did, and I will learn from you.
On the boat, I was studying everything you did, and I caught a big haddock.
I've headed south to Denmark and the fresh coastal capital, Copenhagen. A centre for all that's cool, with plenty to teach the world. And for the arts of food and drama, it's becoming a hub for creativity. The building block right at the heart of Danish food culture is a tasty treat with almost limitless, interchangeable flavours, the open sandwich. But it turns out they are made to a rigid format, and I'm keen to learn it. The office block where I'm getting my instructions houses a telecoms company. And the lady who's agreed to show me the ropes is good friend and celebrated chef Trine Hanneman. Her day job is running an on-site catering company, so to Trine, open sandwiches, I hate to say it, are her bread and butter.
Straight away, there's a lot more effort made with open sandwiches.
Yeah.
Things are cooked for them. It's not like a British sandwich.
No.
There's a lot of love going into these.
Yes. It's very important to get it right when you make the open sandwiches.
There's rules.
There's rules. So you need something soft and something crunchy. You need something salty and something sweet and something bitter maybe.
Okay.
So today, the first one we're doing is fried plaice with a crunchy asparagus salad and a bit of chivil cream, and then the shrimps on top. Just finish it off with the herb.
But I'm more used to kind of, would you like the all-day breakfast sandwich or cheese and pickle? I mean, this is a sandwich. It's an open sandwich. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why you can't be bothered to put the top on, but it's still a lot better than we get at home.
Yeah, because if you put the top on, the bread would be too dominating in the taste, then you wouldn't get all the other delicate flavors. We have a whole education for the open sandwiches, the smørrebrød. And it's a 4.5-year education.
4.5 years.
But we have a particular education just to become what we call an open sandwiches virgin in Danish, smørrebrødsjomfru.
Well, Trina, my training starts here, I guess.
Yeah. So this is June, therefore we're having these brown shrimps. So you season that.
So a good pinch of salt.
Here's the rye bread, crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside.
So you've achieved 2 of those rules already.
Yes, I have. It's called smørrebrød, and that means butter bread. That's what it is. But we're not going to put butter on it
Okay.
because we're going to eat them straight away. So you put the fish on. The butter is important because it coats the bread.
It's a layer of grease to stop everything going through.
Go through.
So no butter for the made-to-order smørrebrød, and butter for the ones that are not to be scoffed immediately. The soft fillets are finished off with a good squeeze of sweet chervil cream. Then for the crunchy bitter part, shavings of white asparagus, on with some seasonal shrimps, and they're topped off with pretty wild chervil and sour blood sorrel.
Raw asparagus, creamy, crunchy place. Little shrimpies. If I went back to work on one of these, I'd do a seriously good afternoon's work.
This is a busy staff canteen, and in Denmark, the workers' mealtime is sacred. So for Trina and her angels, it's head down, all working towards that midday deadline to feed the hungry workforce. Trina's challenged me to put her smørrebrød laws into practice and create an open sandwich that will be served alongside her masterpieces. To tick the first rule of smørrebrød, I need something soft, rare roast beef sirloin.
She said there's got to be something creamy. So a little bit of whipping cream, and I want to beat that till it's fairly stiff.
And I'm folding in some creme fraiche.
So in the English tradition of making a horseradish sauce, I'm actually going to couple it with mustard, and I'm going to blow the lids off this workforce here. This is going to be hot, it's going to have attitude. They're going, something different is going on.
And eye-watering fresh grated horseradish.
Getting there.
I'm chopping some red spring onions. And now the moment of truth, my beef.
This beef just looks absolutely fantastic. I've cooked it incredibly rare, which I think it should be. I mean, it's almost raw in the middle, but I want that kind of, it's like almost beef tartare kind of feel.
I'm using the butter trick so that I don't lose all those delicious juices from my rare beef. A crack of black pepper, sea salt for each one, the crunchy gherkin slices, tangy capers, and my cream of horseradish goes on as the hungry workers start lining up. Now for the red onions, some whiskers of chive and lemon zest to top it all off, just in time.
Okay, I'm done. Stop fiddling.
It's open season on the smørrebrød, and Trina's combinations are tip-top. But now it's time to put my virgin open sandwich efforts to the test.
Oh, it's definitely greatness, actually, yeah. Yeah, I really pick up the flavors as well. It's really fresh.
Well, I've had great training from this lady here.
I think it's delicious, and the cream is very refreshing, a little bit surprising.
Very pleased to hear it. Well, you've all made me a happy man. I can hold my head up high.
Well, that's the workers satisfied, but what does the master think?
It's really good. Yeah,
I think I got crunchy.
yeah,
I got soft.
yeah,
There's a little bit of sourness,
yeah,
a bit of bitterness.
yeah. And a bit
What
of
else?
sweetness.
And a bit of sweetness.
I actually think you really got it. There's all the combinations, and you could become a Danish smørrebrødsjomfru. The
I'm
open
on the way
sandwiches.
to becoming a virgin.
Yes, you are. I promise you that.
So from a lunchtime classic, I'm heading across the city to find my supper. And it's going to take a little detective work.
I'm in the student district of Copenhagen, and I've come for a very special event. I'm not going to be having a barbecue in the sunlight on the lawn. No, I'm descending into darkness, and I better get dressed for my subterranean supper. Down, down, down into the dark mouth of a car park. It's quite an Orwellian scene. Tiffany, hello.
Hello, Val. How are you doing?
Very well indeed. Well, a bit spooked, actually.
It's a bit different. It's unconventional.
What is going on here?
So we're having a special pop-up dinner called Guerilla Dining. It's after the famous Danish TV show The Killing. Have you seen it before?
I certainly have. The famous Sarah Lund.
Exactly. Hence
Well,
our sweaters.
come
Look
on,
at that,
Tiffany.
yeah. And through 5 courses, we are creating a little murder mystery.
This novel experience starts with the detective diners being given the outline of a murder mystery that's happened right here. The evening is shaping up to be packed with creative dishes, but I'm already struggling to find the link between the food and the clues to the fictional murder.
It's a very iterative process. We come up with some clues, some storyline. We build in the menu, and we try and weave through food, through the ingredients, is a murder mystery.
The whole evening is getting more and more perplexing, and so is the first course, or should I say clue.
Here also lies the bodies of 100 little brown shrimps. There's some haddock here. There's a kind of creamy puree. And I've been given a glove to eat with. I mean, when it comes to food, I like to put my hands on food. I always... But here we go, surgical eating. I think this is really rather delicious. It's just eating with latex gloves that I have a bit of a problem with. I do prefer cutlery.
These dishes really look amazing, taking into account that our chef William is literally cooking in the dark. He's trained at Noma, the Copenhagen restaurant 3 times voted best in the world. So he's a safe pair of hands, even if he has got a scary pair of latex gloves on.
Blue thumbprints. There's a clue there.
The next clue on a plate is mackerel, with a tasty accompaniment.
It's fried mackerel with onions. The kind of thing I might cook myself if I was a weekend in Dorset by the sea. But what really makes it is this buttermilk sauce. Buttermilk is a real favourite of mine with chive oil. It's really delicious.
Tasty, but I'm still totally in the dark.
How do you interpret the killing into a dining experience?
We want to lead the guests a bit.
Yeah.
So it's not that you come in and you're completely lost, but we want to give you some clues, some visual references so that you settle into an environment. For example, you had seafood for the first course. You'll have a venison later. We try and weave a different piece of the story that unravels maybe who did it, where it took place, what the murder weapon was.
So my thoughts at the seaside are correct, and the murderer must be connected to the Danish fjords, maybe from the forests, as our next dish is seared loin of roe deer. Well, I can't fathom who done it, but at least I've finally worked out what the murder weapon was.
I get it now. And in it goes.
A little injection of truffle oil. What a way to go.
Well, it's been an interesting evening here underground in Copenhagen.
I didn't solve the mystery, but I did have an adventure in this region with its stunning landscapes, civilized workplaces, and exciting food culture to be enjoyed by everybody.